Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to part 6, is it we're at now, of Rule the Waves, a strategy game which puts you in the roles of a Grand Admiral of one of the major powers from 1900 to 1925. We are playing as Japan, and where we left off, we're in the midst of an arms treaty limitation that puts a maximum limit of 10-inch guns on our main ships, with 15,000 tons being the tonnage limit as well. We've recently just designed a new battleship, the Mikasa class, which is very similar to some of the later semi-dreadnought ships in that it has 8-inch secondary batteries on the warship. Its main gun, however, is only 9 inches, as our 10-inch guns are actually inferior to our 9 inches. So in many ways, it's similar to the German designs, with the main guns being underpowered, but similar to kind of the British later pre-dreadnought ships that had overgunned secondary batteries. Very heavily armored ship that hopefully will do well, and yeah, so that's where we're at. We recently had our dock size expand to 16,000. For a while I thought that meant that was something we really couldn't use, but I did actually look into the rules, and warships of non-democratic nations, us being Japan, can actually build up to 10% over the treaty limit, so we can build up to 16.5. We can't exceed the naval gun limits, though, so we can build it up to 16,500 tons if we decide to do that, although the Mikasa class is a brand new design, so that probably won't happen. I think the next step really is going to be building a new cruiser class, now that we've had a whole bunch of new designs and technologies come apart. Maybe some light cruisers as well, but we need to start modernizing some of our classes of ships. Right now we're in January of 1903. If we take a look at the almanac, we're heavily behind in terms of battleship construction. We have 7 when we complete the ones we have building, 5 in active service. Everyone has almost double of what we have. Our light cruisers are similarly disadvantaged, although not quite as substantially, as Russia, the US, and Italy are all about on par with where we're going to be at when we complete the ships we have under construction. And our light cruisers are roughly on par, although I feel they're probably lighter ships than our competitors, especially when you look at kind of the tonnage totals of what everybody else has out there. Depends on the country, though. US has 15 ships and only 52,000 tons, so they're probably more comparable with us. The British have very large light cruisers at 70,000 tons for theirs. And we're falling steadily behind in the destroyer race as well, so we may lay some of those down in a little bit. We've got a couple of cruisers that are completing in Britain soon, and then we'll be pretty much building locally, so that'll be an interesting new trait. Unfortunately, we still have an underdeveloped shipbuilding industry, which means we are penalized for our shipbuilding times. They take a little bit longer than other countries. Okay, so at the moment, I'm debating maybe putting some of our ships, like our Fuji class, which are now 4 years out of date, maybe into like a reserve status. It would cut down on the cost of the ship substantially. It would give us 100,000 more to play with, but it also would hurt the quality of the crew. And given we only have 5 active battleships and it takes a month to bring a ship out of reserve and into active duty, we'd have a lower quality crew. It would take a month if a war broke out, so that surprise attack benefit that we have as being part of Japan really wouldn't give us the benefit that we otherwise would have. And these ships are only 4 years old, so they'll probably match up fairly well. And they have bigger guns as well, which our newer ships don't have. So anyway, we'll go ahead and we'll start advancing. You can see we've just had a new ship commissioned in the Navy, and immediately we go into the positive for a monthly balance. And that's the situation right now. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to design a new light cruiser class. So why don't we go ahead and do that? We'll do a CL class, and then we'll see what happens if we have the computer auto design it. So it wants to put 5-inch guns on the ship, make it only 3,500 tons. Very light armor. I'd like to bump that up to maybe, let's say 6,000 tons for the light cruiser. It's going to make it more expensive, but it will give us some additional weight to play with, and then we can increase the secondary guns. What if we increase them to 6 inches? Well, what about 7? Well, we could do that. So we'd have, what is that? A lot of secondary guns. I don't know why we'd only have 2 secondaries, though. So we make it a bigger ship, more secondary guns, caliber 3 inches. What if we make them 5? No problems with any of that. Still have a little bit of weight to play with. And bump it up to maybe 24 knots. Have no wiggle room here, but we could have it be a 6,500 ton, 24 knot. That's a very fast ship with decent main guns at 7 inches. The armor is definitely lacking, so if it gets in an engagement with other ships, it's probably going to struggle a bit. I don't know if we've been able to do the above. Is that a... Yeah, we can't do that for a light cruiser yet. But if we put a port and a starboard, you know, if we have some torpedo tubes that are kind of submerged, some more broadsides. Okay, so we've got 4 of those. Whoa. I don't want to make it 7,000. Oops. 6, 6, 6, 7. 6,700 tons. That's an interesting design. I'm not sure if I want to do that. 6,700 tons is kind of large for a protected cruiser, although interestingly enough, there were some British ships which were that large. 2 inches a little bit light on the deck, but if we, well, what if we bump it up to 7,000 tons? Still too light, eh? 75. I believe the British had some ships that were this large in terms of their light cruisers. So it's interesting. I think we'll update this. We'll save this as... Well, no, we have a negative... What happens? Let's see. Gun data, 2.7 and 1.8. Bump it up to 7 inches. No, it does get better penetration. So even though it's an inferior gun, it still gets better penetration. Okay. I think that's what we're going to do. Maybe we can save 100 tons here. Yep. Okay, 7,400 tons, 24 knots, so a super fast, heavily armored, protected cruiser. Overgunned, overspeed, but its armor is weak, obviously being a protected cruiser. We'll go ahead and save the Kasagi class. And I don't know if I want to build it, though. Let's see how expensive it is. 1.2 million monthly build. It is not a cheapie. We're just going to build 2. It's kind of going to be like a commerce raider. I'm thinking maybe it'll be like our foreign station ship. And, ooh, we're going to have to wait on that. We're going to wait a turn. AP projectiles. So it's going to be faster than the Baltimore class, although not as heavily armored, which is kind of nice to see. And we'll... I don't know what that meant. Actually, okay, so we just developed some new armor hardening techniques. I don't know if that affects the ship that we already had designed. Should save us weight, but it doesn't look like it did. Ship identified as TR. No. Why would it be a TR? No, it's not a transport. This is no transport. We could... Whoa! No. Where are you, Kasagi? Open. Well, I'm not sure that that new development really impacts us at all, but we can build some of those ships. So now that we have a little bit of extra money, we're going to go ahead and we're going to build 2 of them. We do have a one-time cost of $2.4 million for developing them, and they're a pretty darn big light cruiser. But it'll be an interesting ship to have, I think. So a different type of ship than what we've designed and built before for our light cruisers, more than double the weight of our previous light cruisers, much more expensive, much more heavily armed, almost like a battle cruiser, but for cruisers, you know, heavily gunned but lightly armored. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. We're building 2 of those. No heavy cruisers in construction, although we have 9, which does put us on par with the U.S. We're a little bit behind others, but not dramatically so in our heavy cruiser department, although the tonnage is... Some of these guys must have huge light cruisers. Battleships, we're definitely still behind, and destroyers, we're still behind. So I think we're also going to go ahead and we're going to build some more destroyers of that newer 600-ton class that was recently designed. I'm thinking 10 of them. As you can see here, the 10 destroyers, 600-tonners are under construction, and just like that, that should get us back on par with most of our competitors, or at least pretty close in terms of total destroyers. We have about 44 destroyers and 16 light cruisers, 9 heavy cruisers, and 7 battleships. So it's a pretty well-rounded fleet, and actually everything is being built locally now, so maybe that'll give us a benefit somehow. So I don't know what violations are occurring. Looks like there's a few errors that are popping up. So again, some research getting done. There's been an internal upheaval in Angola. If we send an expeditionary force to restore order, there is a chance that we can take it over as a colony. However, this may well increase international tensions. We've already got some pretty high tensions with both Germany and Russia. Someone must shoulder the burden and guarantee order in these cases. Send a force. We should not enter on such an adventure. No, we're going to do it. Our expedition manages to restore order in Angola. The place is now under our administration. Tensions go up all across the board. However, if we actually look, we now have a colony in Angola, which is kind of neat. It's a little bit preposterous for Japan when you consider, you know, we're all the way over here. But the fact that Japan now has an African colony, maybe it's foreshadowing what China's doing there these days. Anyway, so we now have a force here. However, that is going to mean we have to send at least 3,000 tons to a station in West Africa. So, we've got 2 light cruisers already in Southeastern Asia. So we're going to go ahead and send 2 more light cruisers, the Hastati and some other ship. We're going to move the ships. I don't even remember what, is that West Africa? Yeah, West Africa, okay. We're going to go ahead and move those 2 ships to West Africa. It'll get us above the tonnage limits. And we're also going to send a few destroyers over that way too. I'd say we sent 5 to Southeast Asia, right? So we're going to send 5 as well. So we'll have 2 cruisers and 5 destroyers in West Africa. Mainly a token force, but hey, it is what it is. You can see our relations with Russia are very tense at the moment, all the way at 9. Germany also isn't happy with our push into Africa. Actually, no one is happy, but it is what it is. And we also do get some colonial bonuses in terms of what do you mean? So our prestige suffers from not having ships on foreign stations yet, but we do have these ships in transit, so hopefully they can get there pretty soon. So it is obviously taking several months for these ships to get onto station. Meanwhile, a scandal involving some important dignitaries from Germany has occurred. At a party governed a world cruise by one of your ships, how do you handle the incident? Use it to embarrass Germany, which will increase tensions, or hush it up, which will lower tensions. We'll hush it up. There's no penalty to that, and we lower tensions with Germany. I've already got enough countries that hate me, so I can at least maybe stabilize things. Okay. Oh, we have more ships in West Africa than our bases can stand. So our bases in West Africa can't support all the ships that we have there. So I think what we'll do, I think that's the tonnage, 18,000 tons. Or maybe not quite. 18 versus 17, 16. It'll hurt our readiness if we have too many ships on foreign stations. So we'll pull two of those destroyers will come back. Okay. Northeastern Asia. 2 destroyers to return home. Eastern Asia. Okay, so we're pulling them out. I don't know what these airs are that keep popping up, though. Meanwhile, we've got some more ships that'll be constructed soon, hopefully getting our budget back under control. And, yeah. So 1903 is interesting. Japan now has a colony in Africa. By the way, that's one of those neutral countries. So, for example, Mozambique here is also a neutral country. Unfortunately, you don't have any way of controlling these types of events directly yourself. Random things will just happen with neutral countries, which I think was a little bit unfortunate because Japan should have the ability to meddle in North Korea. Although, again, it does represent the fact that all you are is a Grand Admiral in the scheme of things. You're not in charge of the politics, per se. But some countries like this did have quite a bit of control with their military over some of the international politics as well. Okay. Oh no, the Russians have stolen technology from us. So we're in January of 1904 at this point, and our monthly balance is still in the negative, which again is hurting our ability to build new ships. Gosh, the Germans are just building so many battleships. They've got 600 construction. British have 5. Meanwhile, the Russians have 17 they'll have 17 battleships soon. That's just crazy. Everyone's got almost double of our battleship tonnage. Even our heavy cruisers were falling behind. Light cruisers too. Everyone just got more money to play with than we do. Poor little Japan. Okay, we've got some ships that'll be done soon. Okay, so the Prime Minister has made an ill-considered statement about Germany. What is your response when asked by a foreign journalist? Try to explain the quote was taken out of context. It'll give us more budget, but we'll lose prestige. I won't comment on policy issues. Tension. Huh. So this could force us into a war with Germany, which I'm not sure I'm ready for. It certainly would be interesting to fight Germany. I agree wholeheartedly. Let's roll the dice. I think it's funny they're advertising 12-inch guns when you consider the fact that you can't build 12-inch guns because of the naval arms treaties. Okay, so we completed a few ships. You can see here we've got more money to work with our monthly balance. So we're actually going to go ahead and we're going to build another Mikasa-class battleship. Basically, I'm just pouring all the money I can into our Navy. I got to get some of those battleship numbers up a bit as well because, again, we are trailing behind a lot of other countries. Every other country. French government is offering to sell us the rights to improved subdivision, $4.3 million. Sure, why not? It's not like we're designing any new ships right now. I'm trying to stay in the black to begin with, so. Dead end, 3 centerline turrets. Queen Emile class. So, no one's building dreadnoughts yet. Still trailing a bit. I'm thinking maybe we can rebuild the Amasama class. Let's see here. Wait, what is it? Rebuild. Oh. Open design for rebuild. Okay. So we open this design up. Replace machinery. Oh, there's the option to do that. So it frees up 100 tons. Wait a minute. Okay, let's do that again. Open design for rebuild. Not much weight. Replace machinery. Okay, so it frees up about 100 tons of space if we replace the machinery. We could fit more secondaries probably. We can't adjust the armor. We could change... No, it would put us in the negative. Can't do that. We can adjust the speed maybe? No. And we can make it at a local yard. We can do that. We can adjust the armor on the turrets. So maybe we drop the armor on the turrets a bit. No, I want to have a 22 knot cruiser. That would be so awesome. Awesome. Can we increase the displacement? No. Can we change these to turrets? A turret, main aim gun, less than 9 caliber without reliable training and elevation gear. Turret reduced by 10%. Okay. I'm not sure what I want to do. Let's exit back out. Sorry, I'm just kind of thinking through this. So we open the design for a rebuild. We change it to a local yard. We definitely want to do that. At the very least, that's a positive because it means we can build these ships locally instead of ordering them from Britain. We can go ahead and replace the machinery. It gives us 100 tons to work with. We can't increase the secondary gun caliber because that'll just give us... We could drop them to 8, put them in single turrets, and then increase them to 7 inches. Training elevation gear, reduce rate of fire. Cannot install additional secondary guns above 6 inches, or change turret types. Okay. Well, I guess that rules that out. Now, let me just double check something here. I'm sorry I keep jumping back and forth. The way it is now, we already have a rate of fire penalty. So that actually doesn't hurt us. I like the idea of them being in turrets a little bit more. But I actually like the idea of it being faster even more. So we'll replace the machinery. Bump it up by 1 knot. We gotta save a ton somewhere. We lower the secondary caliber. We'll do that. And add an additional fire control position as kind of a redundancy. Could we put them in turrets? Make them heavier. What if we drop the fire control? No. Then we're going to get hit with... No other penalty. So it's not illegal. Slightly overweight. I don't think we can reduce the armor. We did increase the speed, although that does reduce the reliability. I'm not really crazy about 3-inch secondary guns. I'm thinking, why don't we just get rid of the tertiary battery altogether? That'll free up additional weight. Can we jump it over to normal? No. What if we put them back in casemates? No, not quite. Well, we'll reduce it to 8 guns. Yeah, we can do that. We can even put them in... Can we reduce the weight Does it even let us do that? Yeah, it does. Okay, so we put them in turrets, take them out of casemates, put them in turrets, drop the armor on the turrets just a little bit, by an inch. That gets us legal. I like that idea. Now we just use the extra weight for some extra ammo. 120 rounds. Okay, so we still have that rate of fire penalty, but we get a not faster speed, drop the armor on the turrets just a little bit, and improve the secondary battery, get a little bit more ammo, get better machinery, and get a little bit faster. So I like that. And we get around the displacement limits of the treaties because you can rebuild your current ships if you like without violating treaties. So we can go ahead and do this. We can go ahead and rebuild the Ashima. It'll cost 1.9 million per month. It'll take 8 months. So we kind of slowly rebuild our heavy cruisers. And again, that's the advantage of those ships being over our tonnage limit. It doesn't matter. So we may want to look at rebuilding some of our battleships as well. But for the moment, we're rebuilding this locally. And again, it's going to get a little bit faster, which will be nice. And we do have some battleships coming online shortly. Recent improvements in productivity have boosted our industrial production. A world cruise of our young cadets is planned. What ship should take part? Some of our newest and most powerful, gives us more prestige but hurts tensions. Some average ships, doesn't look like it does anything, are our oldest ships, which will gain budget but lose prestige. I'm all about gaining budget. So again, that gives us a little bit more money. Sure, doesn't give us any prestige penalty, but it gives us more money to play with, which I'm always a huge fan of. So we're rebuilding the 1 Ashama class, making it a better armored cruiser. And I think we'll go ahead and we'll rebuild this ship as well. Bumps us into the negative, but again, our budget should be getting a little bit more flexible soon. Yeah, we'll do that. Oh, so we developed new fire control, which means the ships that we have under construction can actually upgrade to the new fire control. Just adds a little bit of time. During maneuvers, one of our ships opened fire on a fishing boat from Oh God. We opened fire on Great Britain, sinking the boat and killing several fishermen. Luckily, our relations with Great Britain are good right now. We can say it was fishing and increase tensions, or offer full compensation and make apology. They were fishing in the wrong place. That actually happened to the Russians during the Russo-Japanese War as the Russian fleet was leaving the Baltic and on its way past Great Britain. Somehow the Russians went crazy and thought that the British were attacking them with torpedo boats. God knows why. And they were actually fishing boats. The Russians fired on them, and as a result, the British were already friendly with Japan, who the Russians were sailing to fight. And as a result, the British also decided, we're not going to let you use the Suez Canal, and actually played a substantial role in helping the Russian fleet be defeated by the Japanese as well. Okay, I think we're just about done here. Kind of want to get 3 more months in, but again, you can see different events occurring, and an influential industrialist is allowing us to increase our budget, place larger share of shipbuilds in his shipyards. So it is corruption. It'll give us more prestige if we decline it, but we would get more budget if we accept the offer. Still, I need to get some of that prestige back. That's really kind of the mark of keeping you in power, is keeping that prestige high. So we'll go ahead and decline his offer. We are in the red right now, but we've got some ships that'll be done soon. Prime Minister wants battleships to increase our national prestige. He wants you to build 3 additional. Well, we can lose prestige and budget if we say no. If we say of course, we get more budget, more prestige, but it does increase tensions a bit. So of course, we accepted the Prime Minister's request. And it says we must have at least 4 battleships, BB or BC building. So we're required to build an additional one. Well, how are we going to finance that? I guess we have one more ship coming off the ways soon, so we can do that. Why do I have two redesigns? I wonder which I'm rebuilding. What's this one? Oh, that one doesn't even exist, really. I'm confused why. Huh? It says that one's dramatically overweight. I didn't build it that way. Did I? I'm confused. No, both of these are... Oh my goodness. What is going on? It's not Dreadnought. Huh? Okay. There might be a few bugs. I know there's a few patches as well in the game, so keep that in mind. I haven't installed any. Anyway, our Prime Minister demands that we have another battleship under construction. So I guess we'll go ahead and build another Mikasa. I never rebuilt that ship. Why do we have rebuilds showing up that I never ordered? We're way in the red now. So we now have 4 BBs building, which does meet our requirements with the Prime Minister, for the moment anyway. So who is the most likely nation that we're going to go to war with? What did we say? Russia probably would lead us to war. Italy would probably be the easiest to beat. That's a tricky one. Does increase tensions, but it gives us more money, which we badly need right now. Great Britain we have the best relations with, so let's do them. So we've got 3 battleships under construction. Prime Minister floats an idea of shooting competition for all ships in the Navy. He believes this will increase morale and combat readiness in the fleet. Holding such a competition will substantially increase maintenance costs this month. With all respect, such competitions do not give training relative to combat situations. An excellent idea. Sure. Everyone's getting all these great naval breakthroughs, but our arms limitation treaty has to be playing some kind of effect, right? Oh, these are rebuilds because we adjusted ships that were under construction. Oh, God. I think that's why I'm getting all these errors. Is this ship even legal? Like, is it going to be overweight or something? Okay. Kind of worried. I don't know what's going on with these alerts, but anyway, okay. I think I deleted the design of ship that it is. Okay, so we've got 1.7 million. We just completed another battleship, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to build another battleship. So it'll be the Mikasa, I think. I think that's the best design to pull from. Let me check. So apparently we've got all sorts of messiness. Yeah, okay, we'll do that. Build ship. Another Mikasa class, the 1904 variant. There we go. Okay, so we've got 3 battleships under construction, which is kind of, I guess, the new standard for us to always have 3 battleships under construction, but it means our battle fleet is slowly starting to close in on what our competition has. Does mean we've got... Oh, we have a cruiser coming off construction here. Okay. So now the arms treaty is kind of preventing dreadnoughts from being built. We're into 1905 and nothing's been laid down yet. Meanwhile, we just completed another cruiser's redesign, so we are going to go ahead and throw down a 4th battleship because we do need to make sure that we are meeting the Prime Minister's demands. So another Mikasa class. We're really cranking these things out, but I really think they're about the best design we can have with the limitations that we have on our designs at the moment because of the arms treaty. Or one of the best. I guess we could make them a little bit bigger. But that means we now have 4 battleships under construction, 7 complete. That gives us 11 battleships, which actually means we're starting to close in on some of our rivals. And that's good, especially with Russia, considering we've got very high tensions with them. But it's January of 1905. This video has been a little bit longer, although less, I'd say, historically based and discussion-wise than I was hoping. So anyway, we took our first colony in Angola, and the battleship fleet is really cranking up production. The cruisers are modernizing a bit. We've got a few bugs in the game. It's just kind of annoying with some of the things going on. Destroyers we caught back up to pretty much parity with everyone but Britain. Light cruisers, we're still okay, I'd say, in comparison with our competition. Heavy cruisers, we may need to look at building 1 or 2 more when the funds come up, but really those battleships, we're just cranking those things out. So anyway, I appreciate you guys tuning in, and until next time, until next time, oh God. Huh. So it's a phantom ship. Well, I guess we're going to have to scrap it because it doesn't have any guns. We did get some money for scrapping, though. So, I'm guessing this is going to be the same. That was my own mistake. I deleted the design. I was being stupid. Scrap. Okay, so we just scrapped 2 heavy cruisers. We took a colony, and the Grand Admiral was stupid. Okay, anyway, guys, we will remedy that situation next turn, and I appreciate you all tuning in. Until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.